And my question would be, do you think that the challenges, what people who debate low carbon development on a national scale and we on a local scale, are these the same difficulties and challenges and methodological challenges and so on? Or do you think it's a different world?
No, I don't think it's a different world. For example, one of the new I can briefly tell you what are the current work streams. In the first, let me recover here the document. So in the first workshop that took place about 1 year ago, the main emphasis was given to the analysis, to the first step of our GCC methodology, or sorry, to the first phase, to the analysis. So basically, getting information including on GHG inventories. And now this platform is advancing, and we are having new work streams being consolidated, including, for example, the integration of climate resilience into the LEDS process. For example, also a new work stream, the training of facilitators to put this process in place. So these are just two examples that are definitely common. One still within the analysis which is being debated is how to track the impacts of LEDs. So you see, these are all common, and these are all discussions that we are having, particularly with Stephen and the GCC work group. So they are very relevant. Give me just a moment so that I can open the draft report to let you know the list of the current work groups. So the current work groups are finance, analysis and tools, facilitator training, as I had mentioned, national subnational integration, integrate climate resilience into LEDs, and then there are 3 sectoral platforms, which are energy, waste, and transportation.
Yeah, I'll take it.
The 3 regional platforms engaged are Asia, Latin America and the Caribbean, and Africa. In the report that will be shared with all, there will also be included the link to the toolkits that are available on the LEDS Global Partnership website. The event was very intensive. There were several very interesting breakout sessions, but which unfortunately overlapped a lot. So myself, I am not familiar with everything that was presented and which was debated, but I'm also trying to obtain the link to the place where the presentations will be made available, and I will also try to include this in the report, or at least later on send you that.
Thanks, Anna.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Just one more thing before we really get started. I haven't received any comments regarding the previous minutes, so I suppose we can keep it like that. And regarding today's...
sorry, Lucas. Yeah. You are fully right, and I think even we said if there are no comments by a certain deadline,
yeah, that's what I did.
Turn them formal.
Yeah, exactly.
So just declare them now as being formal.
Okay, so the deadline was on the 27th. I haven't received anything, so we can declare it final.
So in the future, I recommend that if such a deadline has passed, you just send out a very, very short email saying they are now formal.
Okay. Regarding today's agenda, I think you already had a look at it, but is it okay for everyone, or would it be last-minute item? to be added? No?
I
Okay.
definitely want that the May event is on it.
May event.
Our next meeting, so that fits after narrative report status.
Okay. Okay, I'm updating it right now. Okay, so now I think we can really get started, and it was agreed that we would start with the presentation from the communication team here at World Secretariat, so that other communication people from the regional offices could leave after this first part. So I guess we can start with you, Katrina. Would you be ready to do your presentation on the use of Twitter for Urban LEDs?
Yes.
Yes?
Could
Okay.
I show my screen?
Yes, I'm gonna share, I'm gonna transfer the presentation rights to you. Okay, there you go. I think you have to accept it, yeah? I made you presenter now.
Okay, wait a second. Yep.
Okay, I think we can all see your screen, yes.
We can. Okay, well. So, many of you, I hope, might have known, Urban LEDs now has its own Twitter account. Also thanks to the pushing of our colleague in South Africa, Stephen Bland. And they have already started testing this, especially during the launch of the Urban LEDs project in South Africa last week. Now, I would just like to talk to you more about how we use Twitter here at the World Secretariat and how it could be beneficial for Urban LEDs as well. Because, well, when Stephen told me that he would like to have a Twitter account, our first question is why? So I would like to first tell you what benefits, why are we using Twitter? First, we thought that this could be a good communications tool to share and spread project news, successes, events, and also to our partners and to the general public, basically, who use Twitter. And second, we want to profile ICLEI and the project partners. And this increased awareness could perhaps lead to increase the partnership opportunities and could also build the brand internationally. And third, one of the most important things about Twitter is that it's different from all other sorts of traditional media where we just broadcast what we want to say to our audience. Now it's more about conversation. We want to build a lively community where we can also exchange ideas and engage with people to actually our aim is basically to engage and to inspire and to empower people with the information that we send out to our tweets. So yeah, keeping in mind these objectives, now we can move on to now we have a Twitter account and we have these objectives that we want to fulfill. And the next step is how do we then start? How do we use Twitter? For some of our regional offices, you already have Twitter accounts, ICLEI Africa, ICLEI Europe, and ICLEI World Secretariat. But for those of you who do not have yet a Twitter account, let me just start with what is Twitter. Basically, a tweet is like macro blogging. So it's a short message of about 140 characters that can be directed to a particular person or a discussion. And yeah, here in these guidelines, which I will also share with you, you can see what's a part of it. You have a handle, a reply, a hashtag, and those retweets. I don't want to read this all to you right now, but yeah, you can have it later. So how to get started?
basically, for those who hasn't started yet. You can sign up on Twitter. That's a very, actually starting is the easiest thing. Here I would show you that if you haven't account yet, you can sign up. Just go to www.twitter.com and then you sign up with your name and a profile. And secondly, once you started, you can you should actually, I advise this strongly, to create a strong Twitter profile with your name, your photo, and 160 characters of bio. Your name is, well, would be then what you work for, and the photo, if it's not your personal account, it should be a logo of the project or the organization you're working for. And yeah, the bio, it should contain what your themes are or what your interests are and what a little bit about yourself or about the project. The third part is actually now becoming a bit more difficult because now you're on Twitter, you started Twitter, you have a nice fancy profile, but without any followers, it's like talking to yourself. So what you need to do is to build a following. And how do you do that? First, you need to look for people you already know. So go through your contacts base and then invite people, follow people, your partners, your colleagues, your old bosses. Then you can also subscribe to Twitter lists and search for hashtags. Like, for example, you're interested in low carbon, then you can use the hashtag low carbon or climate and then see who are tweeting under this hashtag, and then you can start following them. You can also use third-party tools like WeFollow. Under WeFollow, they have lists there that, for example, they group like media in this list, and then you can start following media, or you can also start following just some influencers or people who get a lot of retweet whenever they tweet about something. And then if you now have like 500, you're following 500 people, it will be also good to categorize them according to whether these people are your partners or just interested individuals or part of the media or something. And yeah, so this building of following, this is something for the Urban LEDS account. As you can see here, at the moment, we have about 21 followers. This is a new account. This is still, no, we are following 58 people and we have 22 followers. This is a new account. This is still okay, but we would need your help to start build the following. So before getting followers, we first need to follow people. And for that, I would like to, if whenever you're ready, I could invite you to join the group tweet, which I will also show you later, and tell you how we can start building the followers. For the next part, this is more about tweeting, informing and engaging with people. We of course need to tweet about interesting stuff, share media. Right now, Twitter also allows the use of this Vine application where you can share 6-second videos, and we encourage you as well to reply and rebroadcast tweets. And the last part here on how to get started is to promote your Twitter account by linking it to Facebook, LinkedIn, blogs, or your website. So this is now how to get started. We have here some more tools on what to use for tweeting. What I would recommend you to use is also what Stephen and I and the African Secretariat have tested, Group Tweet. So Group Tweet is an application that allows us to connect with different accounts and add reports. So in this case, we started this Group Tweet, and I share now the administrative rights with Stephen and the African Secretariat, and we could add more contributors. The idea is that we could add like one or two people, preferably the communications person from each regional and project officer from each regional office as a contributor. And once you're added as a contributor, every time you tweet using the hashtag, this is the hashtag Urban LEDs, that's the handle. Every time you tweet using the handle Urban LEDs or the hashtag, which I could, where is the hashtag? Here, or the hashtag, your tweet will show in this live stream, in this timeline. So that's any questions so far? There are, of course, here in this presentation we mentioned some 9 rules of tweeting, how to tweet effectively, like use hashtags, links, make it easy for others to retweet you, which means that you shouldn't use up all the 140 characters available, but you should leave space for others to retweet you. And don't be scared to retweet, add some spunk in your tweets, interact with your followers, know when to tweet, and check and recheck your tweets. Now, the benefits of this group tweet, as I have mentioned already, is that all the tweets can, this would integrate all our efforts. So instead of having for each of the regional offices a Twitter account, we can, an Urban LEDs Twitter account, which divide the followers, we can just combine all of it in this account, and then we can have eventually, like, hopefully 1,000 followers, and that will just increase all our influence rather than going to, announcing something and then it would be heard by some 20 followers and then asking people to retweet, and then that's I think. Okay, what else? Okay, how to use group tweet. I've already mentioned it to you that I could add you as a contributor, and then whenever you tweet using the hashtag or the handle, it will appear. There, the benefits of the group tweet is that we can combine our efforts across the 5 regions and definitely have a bigger impact and be more efficient. As I have also mentioned earlier, we have used the Twitter account already during the South African project launch. And there you would see that there were a number of live tweets from the Stephen and from the African Secretariat. And whenever they group tweet, you can see here that it will be looking forward to, let me just see an example where it would show via at ICLE.
This is a good, Katrina, can I just interrupt that? There's actually a good example of where it didn't work. So if you go back to slide 14.
Yep.
So on the first tweet, you can see that it was Katrina in her personal Twitter account was tweeting via this group tweet thing to Urban LEDs. So because she put at Urban LEDs and the hashtag Urban LEDs in the tweet, it then says via at Katrina's Twitter account. So that's how it would appear if ICLE Africa did it. But if you look at the one below, we didn't leave enough character space for it to add via ICLE Africa. So all it said was a V. So that we've learned something that you guys, everyone should take note of. That you have to leave enough space for it to add via ICLE Africa or via whoever is tweeting. In order, otherwise it just comes up with it just fits in whatever it can. In this case, it just fitted in the V of VIA.
So I think the best way to learn this is to learn by doing, and you learn a lot of lessons. Like first when you started trying this during the launch, then you found out those things. So I think for the regional offices who hasn't started this, it will be good to start now. And what is the best way to start is if we show you a live example of tweeting. Are you ready there, Stephen?
I think actually if you give Nick control of the screen, then Nick is going to tweet from ICLE Africa to the Urban LEDs account. So if Lucas, you could give Nicholas control.
Okay, I think now it's Katrina who's
I actually already have.
following the thing. So you can transfer. Can you see the?
Change.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, actually, I do have the rights again.
No, I can also change. Yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is my screen over here. As you can see, I've logged into the Africa Twitter handle from my side. So it's a very simple process. As long as you use either a hashtag urban.
Hold on.
Everyone remembers.
Excuse me. Oh no,
It's not. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't see your screen, and I thought it was the same for everyone. But I think now it's all right. Is it?
Okay, you can see it.
I can see it now. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, as Katrina rightly said there, just be careful, everyone, that you use an underscore, okay? So it's urban underscore LED, not hyphen. If you use a hyphen, it's not going to go through to the actual Urban LEDS Twitter account. It will just go out into the world and you won't find out where it is. Excuse me. So as an example, even though I came up with a sort of a tweet over here, you can see I've just put it in over here. It says urban. It actually has a hyphen here. I'll put it here on purpose so you can see. If you send it through the way it is right now, I've just highlighted it, it's not going to get through, okay? You can actually see underneath it is prompting the correct address, which is at urban underscore LED. So please, everyone, remember to put the underscore, not the hyphen, otherwise it won't work. Okay, it's not going to go through. Any question there? Sorry. So, see, this is it's set up over here. It's got a 36 characters left at the end, which is plenty enough characters to allow the input of the from Italy, Africa. And of course, if you have a longer name, just make sure you take that into account. So quite simply, just clicking on the tweet, it sends it through. It'll appear on the Italy, Africa site, as you can see over here, and then it'll appear on the Urban LEDS site as well. So you might want to go back onto the Urban LEDS Twitter account, and you'll see it appear on that wall.
Yep.
So I just want to show the Urban LED wall. I don't know whose screen that's on, but as you can see from my side, it's tweeted to the Urban LEDs side. It's going to appear on my wall. You'll probably also get the email, but you can turn that setting off so you don't get a million emails from everyone tweeting. If you have a look on the Urban LED side now, you will of course see.
Can you switch back and make me the presenter so that they could see the Urban LEDs wall?
So as you can see over here, it's been tweeted from at Italy, Africa. It's okay, Katrina, I can show them from this side. You can see the very top tweet over here. It says very end via at Italy, Africa. Okay, so if you don't have enough characters there, it'll say via at Italy, and it won't say anything else. So just make sure you have enough characters at the end, and Stephen points out quite rightly as well. But yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you use the underscore, otherwise it won't work.
And we're just waiting we haven't yet got your new screen, so it's just still loading, aren't we?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, we can
just
see it
looking at
now.
the LEDs page. Obviously, this is not from. Okay, can you see it? So you can see the very first one. I've actually tweeted it twice to make sure the first time. One was 9 minutes ago, one was 8 minutes ago. You saw the 8-minute one. And as you can see here, it says at Italy, Africa, because it was sent from the Italy, Africa. So that'll say at Europe or at Oceania, wherever you happen to be based and where you're tweeting from. So I think it's pretty straightforward. Like I say, remember the underscore, otherwise it's not going to go through. Okay.
Yep. Okay, thanks, Nick. Any questions so far? Okay. Whenever you're interested to join in the Twitter, just let Stephen or me know. We can add you as a contributor or as an administrator as well. And yeah, anytime you are interested also to gain access, we can also do that as long as you help us gain more followers for Twitter. I'm sending this document. It also that
Hello.
I just presented
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
which
hi.
also
Hi.
then has the
Yeah,
do's
yeah,
and the
yeah, hi.
don'ts.
Hmm.
And
Yes, yes. That's working.
hello.
Ashish, can you
Sorry, we
mute your
can
mic?
hear someone on the
Always
phone.
for having in the night, but actually I am attending this webinar.
Ashish.
It is Urban LEDS webinar no, today.
Ashish,
Was at
excuse me.
3:30, no?
Okay.
Yeah, I was attending this webinar.
Ashish, can you hear us?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Lucas, can't you mute Ashish from your
Yeah,
end?
I can't do that actually. Yeah. I was sending him a message, but it's easier if I mute him. Yeah, that's done.
Yeah. Yeah, Steven, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I think there maybe were a couple more slides on your on your screen, but
Yeah.
the main thing for Igor from Sam's and for Mahal, if you're there, Mahal, do we have anyone? No. Or Steve Gora from the Southeast Asia
Mahal is here.
contingent is Mahal. Okay. Obviously, you guys, I don't think Sam's and Southeast Asia have a Twitter account yet, so obviously it's up to you guys if you want to start your own Twitter account, but in the meantime, if you want to practice tweeting and tweeting on Urban LEDs, then Katrina can just add you as an administrator, and you can tweet directly from the Urban LEDs account, as long as you just kind of write that you're writing from Southeast Asia or from Sam's, then that's a temporary way of enabling you to tweet in case you don't want to have, because obviously that's a decision you have to take wider than the Urban LEDs project. That's something to do with your whole communications work. So temporarily, that's what we can do.
Just to step in there, Stephen. Stephen did bring up quite a good point the other day. Obviously, this is not just a regional project. It's across the globe. So there's going to be times of differences, which I think it's a good idea if people make sure that they do tweet. In the morning for Brazil is going to be different from the morning for us, as it will be for Asia. So I think it's a good idea to come up with a sort of strategy where people do regularly tweet, so that we do have them going 24 hours a day, and not only when, I don't know, South Africa is awake or when Asia is awake. So I think it's worth thinking about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for things like that, we could also do like this scheduling of tweets, but I do not really recommend that because usually when you tweet, you would like to have it like tweet. So it's better
Agreed.
so that the interaction is more real time and not like, oh, it's more like broadcasting. If you schedule, then your tweet. What's the difference now between putting at the news bit and then just tweeting?
I agree, definitely.
And yeah, as we said, this also, it really depends on your time and capacity as well. But for us here at the World Secretariat, our approach to Twitter is that, well, the analogy is more like you're driving in this German autobahn, the German highway. You can drive as fast as you can, but then you can also drive slowly. You can go to the right-hand side. So whenever you don't have the capacity, you can also just drive slowly and send out 1 or 2 tweets per week or per month. But then whenever you have these events and all of this other stuff going on, then you can also tweet even more regularly. But yeah, those are just the technical side of tweeting, how to tweet and all of that stuff, but we still need to keep in mind why are we tweeting, what is this for, and that is, as I have already mentioned, our objectives is to basically increase the profile of Urban LEDs, engage with our partners, and spread the news far and wide. Whatever happens in Africa, we make sure that this also goes to Indonesia and to Asia and to the rest of the world, basically. So yeah, I think if
Is
you
it-
don't have any questions,
Katrina?
yes.
I would not have a question, but rather a remark in addition to what you said, specifically to fulfill this profiling aspect. What I have learned from Twitter is that high quality, keep maintaining high quality and twittering only when you really have to say something is certainly very beneficial. So going back to your picture of high speed or low speed or so, I would recommend that we profile that account as a high quality account, which means it's
Yes.
not that we do as much as we can, even if we had capacity, but that we only need if we really have to say something, so that people learn that from this account you get something relevant. And
Yes.
not you are swamped with Twitters, and at the end either you don't look at them or you even go out. And as so many people are overwhelmed now with so many Twitter requests, I think it's very wise if we keep it clean in a way that we focus on Urban LEDs and not just use it for whatever, and secondly keep it high profile by using it seldom but then for something really relevant. And we could then consider what would we declare as being relevant, and my recommendation would be to focus on information about cities. Of course, announcing an event is fine or so, but not speaking so much about ourselves but about the cities, and this will then indirectly profile us enormously.
Yes. Yeah, I also agree with that, that we can also start following a lot of the cities and then profiling them, which also then leads to the other point. It's good to have a lot of followers, but at the same time we have to make sure that the followers, our followers, are actually the ones that we want to target. So it doesn't really matter if some people from somewhere follows us but has no interest in Urban LEDs at all. It's more useful if we have our followers and partners and those people who actually engage and yes, exchange ideas with us and talk to us, interact with us, and do that. But yeah, as I said, also as this is new for us, new for the World Secretariat, new for Africa, new for Urban LEDs, we will just keep in constant communication because I'm sure there is a lot of learning in the process. So that's our approach there. We have to start learning and to use it discreetly, and have guidelines to guide you through this as well. And if you have questions, just let us know. Yeah.
Okay.
Lucas, that will
Yeah.
be all for me.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Katrina, Stephen, and Nicola for the presentation. We'll make the slides available on the intranet, so you can refer to them for your setting up your own account. Still on the communication topic, we have Alvaro from the World Secretariat who will be talking about the branding strategy for Urban LEDs. Alvaro, are you there?
Yes. Hello. Can everyone hear me?
Should I share the screen with you?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, please.
Okay, there you go. You are the presenter now. Thank you.
Okay,
Can I just
perfect.
ask Alvaro, before you start, when Alvaro is speaking, can everyone else mute their microphones because there's a lot of background noise. So I'm going to do that now as well.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. So as Lucas said, we're going to discuss the branding. So within everything that we discuss, how you tweet, how you communicate, the frequency, everything is branding. Right now we're going to focus on the visual branding identity component, just to make sure that whenever we communicate, whether it be on the website, a poster, newsletter, anything, that we are consistent. Okay? So we are going to start with the logos, and everyone can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good. Okay, so these are the only approved uses of the logo. I just want to make sure that this is clear. And the first one, the very first one, is actually the one that we want to use, which is the horizontal version of the logo. We want to use this as much as possible, whenever possible, depending on the space. And of course, if you want to use, in this case, we have a descriptive tagline, then by all means, of course, you can use the tagline. There's a centered version of the logo and the tagline, and then there's an aligned left. So these are the only possibilities, along with the one here at the bottom for the horizontal version, which is again the one that we want to try and use as much as possible. This is the official logo. So this one here is,
just before you continue, can I say? I'm sorry to say that this is now also the first time that I see all that. Also, I had asked several times.
Okay.
So I do not agree with saying that the first one should be the main logo. I would clearly say that we should normally use it with the subline, because who in the world knows what Urban LEDs is? So I would declare number 2 and 3 to the main logo. Yeah, and I could even not really imagine under which conditions we would use it without tagline. Maybe there could be some very specific, where for very specific reasons, maybe in a visual environment, for example, as a background to a photo banner or so, this type of moments could happen where this is better without a tagline. But when we use it in our day-to-day use, I would definitely go for with tagline.
Yes?
Huh?
No, please continue.
I do not know why we keep it open whether we use the second or the third one. Either we would have criteria, or we would say each office would have to select one, which doesn't make so much sense, or we say one is the normal one, because why should we now brand two things which look differently?
I will explain this. First, there are uses, there will be occasions where the communication that you're working on is going to a stakeholder that already knows who Urban LEDs is, so you do want the possibility to use without. But whenever we communicate in general, we definitely want to use the tagline, so I do agree with you. What I am saying is that the horizontal version of the logo is the one that we want to use. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that the two different versions, whether you have a center tagline or a left line, is because, and I will show this later, in the actual use, the applications of the brand, you're going to need this. So these are options that you have to have. The logo needs to be agile. So that's going to be the second portion.
Then please, in whatever document, when you describe it so that people know about it who are not listening now, then give criteria when to use
Of course,
so it's
of
not
course.
any, it is, yeah.
Of course, definitely. So, so yes, to agree with Monica, if in a general communication, especially with stakeholders who do not know what Urban LEDs is, please do use the tagline. So that this is correct. And just going down, whenever you have a very narrow space, and if you have to make the logo so small in order to fit, this is when we have what's called the vertical logo, so that you do not have to make this so small, but instead we use the vertical logo. So I just want to be clear, such as actually the space that we have available for Twitter. This would be a perfect example. If for us to try to fit the horizontal one, especially with the tagline in the space, was just not going to work. So in this particular case, Katrina selected the appropriate logo. So I just wanted to point that out as a perfect example. Okay. Moving down, you can just see if you're going to use what's called the negative of the logo, where you just want to shout out or to be seen from far away the primary color, which is the orange, then you would just use white for the logo, and these will be available just so you can see what this would look like. Okay. The different office and city logos, as you can see, this is the official use. There should be no inventing or reinventing or anything else that changes from this. And I will be coordinating with Joe and with Katrina as to how to start sending out all these different files and specifics for everyone to adjust. but there is no rewriting or changing different colors. In this particular case, you will have this template, if you will, this official use. So I just want to make sure that is clear. And also, as you can see, we actually use white a lot. So once we move into applications and colors, you will see that while orange is the color that allows us to communicate and to be easily identified, you will notice that actually it's that balance with white. So we're going to now move into the colors so you can see. And here is a primary color, which is this orange.
Alvaro?
And you have your...
Alvaro, can I interrupt?
Yes.
So
yes,
just to go
of
back
course,
to
of course.
The previous page. So
yes.
will we need to...
The office?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Will we need to provide to you the names of the cities and how many we want, or are these going to be edited? I take it they won't be editable files by us. They'll be made in some program of yours. So we'll need to provide you just of the exact city names and things like that.
Exactly.
Yes, Stephen, we'll provide this for you.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Perfect. Any other questions? Okay. So moving down into the colors, as you can see, the main color that transmits Urban LEDs is this orange color, and not actually this orange color that is also within some of the symbols, these building structures in the logo. That's just meant to highlight, to create the symbol. But as far as whenever we are in what's called corporate or institutional branding, what communicates us is this orange color, but with the balance of white. And we will see that once we move into actual brand or visual brand applications. And as your primary secondary, or your most important secondary color, is what we call the graphite, which is actually the same color that is used in the black portion of the text. So it's actually not quite black, but it's very close. The reason for that is just really to create the balance between this color and the orange, which is a much lighter color. So it's just to create a balance. And here you can
Alvaro,
see...
are you going to present black and white versions as well in the following?
I'm going to discuss that within applications, yes. Okay, should I continue? Okay, so these are all the secondary colors, as you can see. In order to avoid sort of this almost gray or just orange and black and different shades of this, I have actually provided different secondary colors that can be used that work in harmony, and we're going to see how this happens in the next slide. But the main thing to remember when applying these other secondary colors, these colors for support, is that they are support colors, and in no way should they become much stronger or should the brand be diluted so that you don't identify it with this orange and with this white. So just want to make that clear. So let me just reduce this so you can see. Okay, so in this next slide I have made up this fictitious poster, and as you can see clearly, we want the logo to be seen, so we put this on top of the white background, which we said is actually one of the primary colors, which allows the logo to be seen clearly, very clean, and it creates this balance. And along the bottom we have put this orange strip, and you can see if you needed an element such as a button or an arrow, you can see how this would work. And on this poster to the right, I have just included little color chips, if you will, of the colors, so you can see how they work within this environment. And as you can see in the second poster, I have used the yellow, and it works just fine, and you are still visually communicating the brand. It's not diluted, there is no confusion. The chips, the colored blocks are just there just so you can see that the colors work. You would not put these color blocks, of course, on your poster. And here you can see some different button colors using the colors provided, and of course you would use the different shades. So obviously you have to be able to make a judgment call as to what's going to work so that you're still in harmony. Any questions so far? Okay.
I have one little. Have you
Yes.
ever tried to copy these colors? How that looks?
Photocopy?
Yeah.
No, I have not yet.
Can you please do so? Because there are many colors which look nice when you have colored versions, but in the moment you print black and white or you copy, they are not that nice anymore, and we must check this for this orange.
Of course,
because most people, when they get something in color, would then print it not in color.
I understand. And when we go into applications, we're going to discuss the specifics actually of the black and white logo and how that works.
No, I mean something else, Alvaro. I mean that we use the color, but people don't use it when they can see it.
I understand that. But what I am saying is that there will be specific instances when we know we are going to produce something for black and white. So I will discuss that specifically as well. But as far as colors and different colors that are used, you can't really, you will have colors and then you know when there will be something in black and white. And then there's just what you say. Sometimes people will just print.
This is exactly our experience of the last years. It's not us to decide if someone further uses a document in color or in black and white. We can't steer that. Many people would, when we provide color, would then go into black and white. So please check how it looks like then.
I will be happy to explain this. Just we can do a sidebar and we can discuss the details. So moving down, the typography, the main type is going to be folio, and you want to use the light, medium, or bold. If you're going to put two together, probably best to have a light and a bold just to show the contrast. So this will be the primary type. As I finish this branding guide style book, I will provide more details on everything, but this is the primary font, and I will point out also what to use for web use and this sort of thing. So that will be developed. And the secondary here should probably limit the use of these secondary fonts, but there may be special occasions, as perhaps if you had maybe the font for, if you had a bulleted list and you just had some numbers, perhaps they can be really bold. You can use this folio extra bold, something like that. But most of what you read and what you see should not use that because it's contrary to the brand. And as you can see within the logo, we have fine lines. It's something much softer. And if you were to contrast this with this extra thick bold, then you're changing this. It's a different communication. It's almost like writing with caps or with exclamation marks. Any questions? Okay. So the brand applications. Again, just the logo, bare logo in this particular situation. Different possibilities of how you can use it appropriately. Please notice that this darker orange, red-orange is not what we do. We do not do this. We do not express the brand in this color. So just want to make that, just want to emphasize that. And for example, if there was some type of space where a partner or where we happen to be publishing that is black and white, and we know there's going to be black and white use because that is what the company is telling us, that this space is going to be black and white, then we do not provide a logo with different shades because this tends to not work too well. So it's either black or white. And in this particular case, you can control it so that it is graphite, if possible, or just straight black if there's no other possibility. So this will allow the logo to not be diluted in black and white, because there will be times when you know this is going to happen. So in those situations, we just either do what you see here. So this is really, really important so that the logo is not lost, these details. Okay, and just so you can see, just again, basic potential uses, the poster that we had discussed, if you wanted to put some orange behind, then you can just use the logo in white. That's fine. You would do the same with, you would do the same with the tagline. It would be in white as well. Typically also, if you look down, let me just zoom in on here. If you had some type of festival, some type of booth type design that you needed, you can do something like this. And in this particular case, very special situations, you can have the logo stand out in this way. So it's just a nice way so that you still have your full color logo, and when you're in some large fair, trade fair type space, you can be seen and you can be recognized quickly. So this is the main thing. You want always to express your main colors to be immediately identified. The other colors is just secondary. And here is just what not to do, which is using this darker orange that we discussed. This is not Urban LEDs. Please do not do this. So just want to make that clear. Do not do this. This is expressing now something else. It's much stronger. It's a bit more aggressive. This is not Urban LEDs, so we will not be doing that. And here are just different ways that if you needed to put the logo, just different situations of possibilities. Doesn't mean you have to do this exactly this way, but just basic acceptable things that you can do. In this case, you can just see this. This will be available later. The main idea is that the logo is always recognizable, very easy to read, should not be difficult to read. And here is an example of what not to do in this particular case. This is for something small, relatively small. This is not a booth display. Do not use, in this particular case, the color symbol on top of orange. We do try to avoid that in these situations. Okay, and you can see just the different options. And here, just to highlight the spaces where it's too narrow, and if you had to take the horizontal logo, which is the one that we are saying is the primary logo, and here we do have it with the tagline, which is what we do prefer as well. If you had to just make it so small so that it would have to fit, then do use the vertical logo in this particular case, and this is what we have done here. And here's just very briefly, some of you may have seen this. This is just a quick mock-up of something you could do as far as to how to visually communicate the brand. And this would be a particular special situation where you could use this extremely wide use where you have logo and then tagline to the side. It's a possibility as well. It's not something you would do too often, but in this particular case you can do this. And if you would notice, there is nothing officially black. It's actually the graphite color we discussed, and this maintains a nice balance. So as you can see, you can use different shades, and whenever possible, please use photographs because they're really going to stand out. It's going to be a nice rich color, and it's going to keep the communications, whether it's video, whether it's static, a newsletter, anything like this. It's going to keep it nice and vibrant. And here's the same thing, just with a slightly gray box. So this is a quick overview of the brand visual identity. Any questions at this point?
Alvaro, yes, I have a question. This is Luca.
Yes, please.
How far are you in your presentation? How much time do you need? Because this is very detailed, and maybe we could say
I'm finished. This is finished. I'm
okay.
finished. Yes. that's why I said if there were any questions.
Cool. Okay, then that's perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay,
yeah, that's
So I do have one question just before we do move on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Yes. If we're going with the primary logo, which is a horizontal band, the only concern that I'm having right now is if we partner with other people like the IUCN or World Bank, and we use a horizontal logo, the LEDs logo is going to be a lot larger than the other logos. And I know for a fact, because I've had to deal with this for the past year or a year and a half, a lot of other people get very touchy when one logo is bigger than the other logos. Are we then allowed to use the horizontal, square logo in that instance? Because what we're saying right now is that the horizontal, the band or banner-looking logo is the primary. We have to use it all the time.
Correct.
But, what do we do then?
If there is a situation where there is no way to make the logo smaller, visually equal is the best way to say it, because no logo is always exactly the same, they have different shapes, but visually of equal weight, if there's absolutely no way and you just cannot negotiate this, then yes, you can use the other logo. Though I would really have to see this. This is really more of on a case-by-case basis, because typically, unless it's a matter of not enough space, meaning not enough width to place the logo, typically you can make this small and visually still have roughly the same weight, and it would still be legible. So you would really have to assess this on a case-by-case.
Well, for example, with Italy, if you're using the Italy logo, which one would you use? Because no matter what you do with the horizontal banner, if you make it small, it's going to be a strip. It's going to be very, very narrow. If you're putting it against a square, no matter what you do, it's a square.
Oh, exactly. If it's so small that you can no longer read, then you switch to the vertical. Correct.
Can I just say that the entire combination with ICLAI and UN Habitat logo is something on which we have to work. We cannot give now any immediate answer, Alvaro. We have to look into that, because we have made a clear commitment that in many cases for external publications, all the three logos will be mentioned. So we owe UN Habitat anyway a proposal for that. So let us work on it and then further share.
Okay, thank you, Monica. Yes, because there was a concern, because you're going to have two rectangular logos, and you're going to have Italy sitting in the corner looking like naughty child. So if you put it away, it's all equal,
This is going to be something that I am still developing, and I will provide this recommendation. If that is what you do, exactly, because this will come up a lot, correct.
Maybe just one comment also from my side here. We do have to use the European Commission logo. This is our main funding agency, and they will get really upset if we don't use that. So we need to come up very quickly with a constellation of how logo should be used in standard on any document or any product.
This is
and press releases and so on.
Mareike, I fully agree that we need a version, but I would not say that we have decided that it will appear all the time. But it's a very good point now to coordinate with UN Habitat.
Well, certainly, a funding agency logo has to appear on
but so far, all what we have discussed so far was that there would be this extra section where the Commission's logo is and the accompanying sentence, which makes a reference but also a disclaimer. That this would normally not be part of the logo, but that would be placed at another part of a publication. But you are right, we now have to confirm that, and we have to see now that all together.
Yep.
So regarding the different logos, the partners and the funder, that is something that we are presently working on. And as Monica said, let's say UN Habitat and ICLAI together with Urban LEDs, they do not become one logo. It's just how we are going to visually place them and communicate them. So I just want to make sure that it's clear. And for example, the European Union in this case, who is the funder, and again, this is just going to be recommendations where to place in different situations. They are not all going to become one logo. I just want to stress that, but I will be providing guidance on that this week. Is that clear?
Okay, so we basically must wait for some direction here, because if you do have, Italy would move better in the middle, first one needs to either side, so okay, we'll just wait to get told.
Exactly, I will be providing this guidance because you're going to have different spaces, so, exactly, so I will be providing this.
Okay, I suggest we spend some time on other topics as well. So I also suggest that all the communication staff, you stay in touch and you just clarify whatever hasn't been clarified in this presentation during bilateral calls or contacts. So the guidelines will be made available on the intranet as well, the presentation, and yeah, Alvaro will give me all the documentation. I will
correct, this is correct.
For specific issues, you can address me or Alvaro or the communication team in general. Thank you, Alvaro. That was a very thorough presentation, and thank you.
Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
I think all the communication people can now leave the webinar because we're going to be talking about other issues. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, our next point on the meeting agenda is the financial report. On my side, I can only say that I'm still expecting one statement from South Asia. And I have also a draft statement from other offices, and I'm expecting the complete statements as soon as possible. I know there were questions or regarding the guidelines and the way institutional costs had to be calculated, but if you can clarify that on your side as quickly as possible and send me those final statements, that would be very appreciated. Thank you. Monica, do you have any other thing to add regarding the financial statement? Monica?
Yeah, I do not really understand the silence of some offices. So maybe those offices which have not yet sent anything to us should briefly explain in one sentence why and what is happening.
Hi, I'm Kavita here from South Asia office, and most of our financials are almost done. We need to check on some travels from Mr. Kumar, like we can include that in the Urban LEDS financials. So once that is done, I think by today evening or tomorrow morning, most probably we will be able to send it to the
yeah. Kavita, I mean, I say it to you now and to all the others, we have so often asked, send us draft. There is no problem if you add something or so, but from the communication with the two offices which have sent us our drafts, we have learned, which I had foreseen, that there are so many little things to clarify, so many emails going forth and back, that we would like to do that in your draft version and not in addition to you now being anyway late, and now then all this comes in addition. So please send us, you are not limited to not changing. A draft is only for us to give you advice on certain issues which we have found out being a little challenge to other offices already.
Yeah? Okay, then yeah. We will try to send it by today evening. I'll just check with my account.
Wonderful.
Officer.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for the update. Okay, shall we move on to the narrative report, or is there anything else regarding the financial statement, Monica? Okay, I guess we can move on then. Stephen, would you like to update us on the status of the narrative report, maybe?
I've been out for a week, so I would pass on to Monica.
Okay, Monica.
Or Marika, depending on who.
Yeah, sorry, that's right. Marika, maybe, if you're there, because Monica is not answering.
Sure, sorry, just apologies for my voice, it's a bit rusty. I'm busy working on the narrative report draft that I got from Stephen, and I will send that back to him today for including some of the missing elements. I had to, Stephen, one question, the two offices that did not send their work package 3 text, do you have that already, or is that something we also now need to discuss quickly?
No, I now have everyone's submission.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Then I'll send it to you when we're done here, and you and I can maybe have a quick Skype chat if needed, just to clarify and fine-tune the last bits. But I think in principle the narrative report looks quite good. It shows certainly that we've done a lot of work, although we are a bit behind schedule. And yeah, then we will need to look at the work plan as a next step to make sure that we're all on track and all on the same track for the next activities. That's all from my side.
Our goal was to submit it by the end of this week.
Still doable, I think.
Yeah. I think just one other thing to check was there's still gaps in work package 6 and 7. So if, within the World Secretariat, we need to decide if that needs, who can make sure that's written in time to submit at the end of this week.
Okay, so anything else to add, or shall we move on to work package 2? Okay, in work package 2, Anna wanted to introduce...
Sorry, Lucas, we had added earlier the May meeting. Lucas, we had
sorry,
added
I'm here.
Meeting.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah?
Sorry, because I was in the minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, for the May meeting, there is the logistical dimension and there is the content dimension. Logistically, I sent you an email last night, and I'm really appreciating all those who answer quickly, because this hotel booking is a nightmare, as you always know. However, our question or our recommendation to Urban LEDS colleagues who are here is, of course, to stay during Resilient Cities Conference, or at least part of that. So please consider that and let us know not only your presence at the Urban LEDS meeting, but also your hopefully continuation for some further days in Bonn here. In terms of content now, we had made a very draft outline, at least in my first email on that some weeks ago, at least which part should be with the directors and which parts would not be with the directors. If there are any comments, let me know. Secondly, I have now learned that the project Asia Adapt will also have a parallel meeting to ours. I very much hope that this will not be a conflict for any one of the Urban LEDS group. I fear that it will be a potential conflict for some directors. But let's now speak about you. So if there would be any overlap in responsibility of someone in the Urban LEDS group and in Asia Adapt, please let me know immediately. We should not risk our Urban LEDS meeting being complete. And now in terms of agenda, I think that is the next step what we are now working on here in Bonn. So whatever first input you have, let us know. I mean, we will come up with a draft which you can comment for sure. But if you have already proposals, what you want to see in the agenda, commitments, what you want to present, let us know. Brief email to, I would say, Anna, Mareike, and myself is sufficient at the moment.
Okay.
That was it. Thanks.
Can I just ask?
Sorry, go on.
We did have a discussion last month about the grip training. I can't remember if we were going to aim to schedule it around Resilient Cities or if we were postponing it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Stephen. I think we said in the last meeting that 4 days is too much to add. And then someone wanted to look into whether this can also, with lesser time, we also could achieve something. But I do not know if that has happened.
I think we did ask Sebastian, but he has not given a final answer on that yet. And the latest proposal, I believe, is that we would rather put it together with the city network meeting. We could then train the staff in India. But we also need to check with Sebastian if that's possible. Anna and I will follow up on that.
Okay, shall we move to work package 2? And actually, it also deals with training, sorry. Anna drafted a training plan to assess the training needs from all arrows. Anna, would you like to present us your draft? Or to say a few words about it?
Sure, I can say a few words about it. It's not a plan yet. Could I share my screen with you?
Okay, you're not a presenter.
Okay, thank you. Can you all see an Excel file? Hello? Yes? Okay. Thank you. So this Excel file, which I intend to share with all of you, so far I've only shared it here in the World Secretariat and with the GCC group. But I intend to share it, and it's a dynamic file for you to add and change as you feel it's needed. This file has two tabs. One for the proposed offer, I mean training courses to be offered for which there is a need, and the second tab for each regional office to identify its needs. So each regional office would select one of the courses, one or several of the courses listed in the previous tab of the file. So what I would ask you is just to go through this file. In the structure of this table, feel free also to add as you feel it's convenient. Right now what we have here is training course suggestions, contents overview, target audience, duration, format, trainers suggested, training materials, whether they exist or they need to be developed, correlation to the GCC methodology step, and importance rating. This is what I've included so far, but please feel free to adjust. Regarding the suggested courses for now, there is one here for Urban LEDS, what is an Urban LEDS, and then there are several for the GCC methodology, one for the overview, and then other modules regarding several issues which may deserve a special training session. Then of course we have here Heat Plus, Carbon, and the Cities Climate Registry, and other suggested courses, of course, including GRIP. So I will put this in the Google Drive.
Anna, let me
yes?
just say that I took the liberty of already sharing this with the offices. We can send you the link once again, and maybe we'll put it up on the intranet as well, but we have to find a location.
Yes, exactly. So you'll find a link for the file in the Google Drive in Luca's last email regarding this webinar, and regarding the location in the internet. Well, the agenda is listed under Work Package 2. Would you like it to maintain it in Work Package 2 or Package 3? It's not listed as far as I am aware. Training is not listed in the project's task list. This is internal training that we are talking about. Would anyone like to comment on the location where it will be more intuitive for everybody to find this file in the internet?
And I think this might fit very well in Work Package 2, which is all about the conceptualization, and we can put the internal training there as well.
Okay,
maybe as another point, anything that is relevant to all the other ICLA offices not in the project, we also need to make sure that they get an invite to join the webinars in case they're interested.
Okay.
Excuse me, Marika, I didn't quite get that. Who should also receive invitations?
Some of the training sessions that we plan to do, like the GCC overview, are also very relevant to the other ICLA offices not involved in Urban LEDS, so they should also be invited to participate.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, so this was all that I had to show regarding this subject. I don't know if you want to make further comments. So this is on the offer tab, sorry, actually on the needs tab. So ICLA office, training course, number of participants, and preferences regarding the format of the training, whether a webinar or a in-room session, the preferred dates, preferred associated event, any remarks. Like I said, please feel free to add everything that you feel is relevant.
Anna, this is Steve. Could I just ask a question about the training needs tab,
Absolutely.
if this is
Go
on
ahead.
Google Drive, does that mean that every office will fill in that same page, and does that get confusing?
Well, this column here with the ICLEI office was to help us sort that even in one single
Right, so
tab.
you envisage that, yeah, we'll all just keep on adding rows,
But
so that
if you
we're all on the
prefer,
same page.
well, this is a proposal. This is a possibility. But if you prefer, if you think it would be better, we might create a tab for each one of the offices. Do you think that would be more functional? One needs tab
I
for
only
each
made the
office.
comment because the way you'd only provided about 8 rows underneath, it looked to me as if it was only designed for a single office, that's all.
Would everyone prefer to have one tab for each office? Hello?
One tab
It's probably easier, Anna, to keep it all on one page.
Okay.
It's easy then to sort according to ICLEI office or according to, if people want the same type of training course, you can sort it from different perspectives in an Excel sheet on one sheet. So easier
Yes,
to keep
it's
it in
true.
one.
Yes, to process the information, that's definitely easier.
Anna,
Yes.
I have a question about the dates for this course, because we are a bit concerned about, for example, some points of the GCC methodology that it may come up with some doubts about, some steps, and we are not very confident to give a explanation, a very detailed explanation to the cities. So I would like to know if you have any, proposed date for these start sessions for the GCC methodologies for us.
Well, definitely one possibility, if that is identified as a need by the different offices, would be to include it in the agenda for the PMG meeting associated with the Resilient Cities event. Actually, that was... Go ahead, Igor. What?
But the problem is we are a bit concerned about, because we are about to contact our select cities over the next week. And I'm sure as soon as we present the some points of the work plan and the methodology itself, they will come with doubts, and and we are not very sure how we can explain these points to them.
Oh, I see. So that would be already too late, the May event. Stephen, are you there? Perhaps we could have an overview course webinar on the GCC methodology overview.
I think actually, Igor, you're getting at something else, which is the review of the methodology itself is still ongoing. So I was going to go through this after Anna, but I can quickly do it now. So we went out with comments to regional directors, and we received comments back from Florence. But I think from the other offices, we haven't yet received any formal feedback from the regional directors. So perhaps what we need is to just have a quick, in the working group, have a quick Skype call maybe at the end of this week to consider the comments that came in from Florence. And I presume, Igor, that your concerns are captured in her comments.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So perhaps that's actually on the methodology itself rather than an additional training for other staff that haven't been involved in the process.
But it's Steve here, if I could just join in. This has been concerning me for some time as well, because the frontline staff who are going to be doing most of the workshopping and technical work with the cities are not necessarily the group which will be sitting in the LEDS meeting in Bonn. And I thought we had already discussed that even at our last meeting in Bonn in November, that it would be overloading the Bonn program to also have the GCC training. And we sort of need to know, because at Southeast Asia, for instance, when we were talking about who would go to the PMG meeting, we were trying to separate our thinking, or separate that in our thinking from a training program. It certainly seems to me that we need to provide the preliminary training fairly soon, because we have to start work with the cities, and we can't afford to wait till the middle of the year. So I think we need some more discussion around the timing and the nature of the first training event, which I think needs to be a fairly big one.
What would be the best moment to do so, to have that discussion? Is this tool, is this file enough to promote that discussion? I agree with the urgency of
I know what you mean. It's a bit chicken and egg. If we've done the training needs analysis, then you can be more precise. But I was assuming, maybe wrongly, that every one of our officers would be wanting to send some key staff to some fairly detailed training on the methodology before they really get very advanced with working with their own cities. So, you know, I would have hoped we could be looking at something April, May, but not necessarily at Bonn or coinciding with Bonn.
Can I just also add to Steve's comment, maybe play devil's advocate? Who would be giving this training? Because there is no one else that's developed it apart from the people in the working group. So cannot each office train its own staff? Because there is no one else to give a training apart from the representatives in this Skype call. So maybe we just have, I mean, do we all need to get together to have a training?
Sure, but sure. Well, we at least need to agree on those contents, right?
Yeah. But I would presume that the people that would need to give that training would be Steve Gawler, Sumaya, yeah, and so yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, it's a good point, Steve. I hadn't quite thought of that. There are different elements in the GCC. There are some which are going to require some quite considerable technical expertise, particularly around the calculators, the heat and that sort of thing. Will we have that degree of expertise in each of the offices? I'm not quite sure.
Sorry, Steve. When you mean calculators, are you talking about the greenhouse gases? Are you talking about
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, developing the inventory, you know, the data analysis, the data sourcing analysis, validation, entering into heat, etc. Yeah.
Well, I would place that as a separate course. Well, down here I'd suggested one webinar on carbon and the city's climate registry, and I would think that the World Secretariat could, and perhaps could ensure that. I haven't discussed this with Eunice yet, but that might be a possibility.
Sorry, our Priscilla lost our connection there, so we missed that.
I think we need to move on the agenda, but let's propose to do a first training on the actual overall methodology. I think that we can set up quite quickly once we've got the methodology fine-tuned, and I guess that would be something we can do in April, early April already. Steve, what is your opinion on that?
I would think so, yes, Marika, because I think the overview and the early steps are probably more straightforward.
Yeah.
I was focusing more on the more technically challenging parts of the process. Yeah.
Okay, well let's fix and set dates for the ones we can deal with now already, and we need to identify which staff they need the more technical training, and that can go into the training list. Ideally, even listing who exactly would need what kind of training from which office, so that it's very clear that we start breaking into different groups of people who would deal with specific issues.
Okay, this is Luca, are we done with this item? If so, we can move to the next one, which is the GCC next steps and timeline. I don't know who would be talking here.
Stephen,
maybe the easiest. Okay. Maybe easiest if you could show the screen.
Okay. Sorry, what should I do?
Oh no, I'll take care of that.
Okay.
Sorry. Do you want me to take the screen back or to give it to you, Stephen?
You can give it to me, then I can show the...
Okay. There you go.
Can people see my screen?
It's loading, I guess. Yep.
So this was our timeline for completing the methodology, and timings have slipped a little bit, and I'm afraid in the past couple of weeks I also haven't been able to drive the process because we had our launch. So I think my suggestion is that in order to complete this first task of finalizing the overall methodology, that we briefly meet on Thursday in the working group at this time to collate the comments from Florence, and then see if we need to make further revisions. In terms of sharing, you'll see here we had an item to share with local governments in each country. I think we've had comments back from I don't think it was actually a local government, but a partner of Southeast Asia. So I would ask for an update from the other offices if they've managed to get any input from a local government in their country, kind of on the ground input. Has anyone else managed to do that, or do they plan to do it? Sams?
Yes, Stephen. We are waiting for to announce officially the cities, so we can contact them and ask them about their comments to the methodology. But this may happen only after next week, as we still need to decide with Florence. She's not in the office; she will arrive tomorrow. So hopefully by the end of this week, we will have a final answer to your questions.
And South Asia, do you plan to share with either the project municipalities or someone else, an expert or another local government, to get feedback on the methodology, or do you not plan to do that?
Right now we are not sharing it with any municipalities. That first we have to come out with we have to do the internal discussion on it. So once that is done, then we will come back to you. So we are waiting for Mr. Kumar's comment on the final methodology part.
Okay. From ICLEI Africa's point of view, we haven't managed to share with the local government. The one we intended to do so, we weren't able to. So we may still try and do that with another one. But then, Monica, we will also need to discuss, maybe not in this meeting, but how we share with UN Habitat. So just flag that now. That needs to be decided. But then I would say that the thing really holding us up further sharing that methodology is the format that it's in. So it's currently in a very detailed Word file, but that's not something we can share really with the municipalities in terms of the project municipalities in a formal way. So I think I'm just skipping to the end actually here. The design, where is it? Yeah, these three here, the design of the methodology, I think we need a number of options have been shared about how we might actually visually represent the methodology, but we really need someone to bring all that together and to make a concrete proposal. So I think in the design group it was Marika, Anna, a colleague from South Asia. So do we have any clear suggestions on how we take that forward? Because I think that's the most pressing, and we must be able to actually present something that looks a bit nice to the municipalities ASAP.
I think we might need to brainstorm also with somebody from the communications team to just get their input on that as well.
Okay. So if I set up a meeting for perhaps this Friday with those people that have been involved in that email chain, and we can all come armed with ideas, and we also include the World Secretariat Comms team.
Sounds good.
Because the actual design work.
Could you link me also to the methodology working group. The European input is in any case nearly ready, so I'll send that to you. But I'd like to join the discussion group as well.
Sure. So that's the design of the methodology. In terms of tools, going just back up here, yeah, I don't think there's been any further progress. We assume now that if you haven't edited the existing tools on the Google Drive doc, then you're happy for them to be used. So we will download them off Google Drive and add the Urban LEDS branding, and those initial tools can already form part of the methodology. In terms of the new tools, I think, yeah, that's a task for Anna and I to sit down and to make a clear plan. We apologize that that's behind schedule, but we haven't managed to do that yet. Luckily, I think most of these new tools will not be needed to be used by the regional offices until at least July, August time, so we have a little bit of time to further develop. But obviously it's a priority. And then lastly, it's the project guidance document. So yeah, that's on my watch, and it's, as you can see, very behind schedule. But as I discussed with the World Secretariat, a plan for how we get those first draft of those notes out to you in the next week or two, so that you can comment them before the end of March. Does anyone have any questions on any of those elements? I would encourage you, if you haven't yet done so, to go on the Google Drive folder that we've shared with you previously and see if you don't have any other comments to make to tools or yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Anything else?
So actually, Nick,
yeah.
so
yeah,
can I just add one thing? Obviously, in this working group, we've been trying to design these things to get a kind of baseline of agreement. But then once we've done that, then it's really, I guess, up to the regional offices to take these tools, to run with them, and to bring feedback as to how they can be improved. But the onus is then on the regional offices to use the tools or not use the tools, or edit them to fit their needs, and then share with the rest of the group the changes they made. But yeah, it's not the job of just the small working group to then do further work on them. But, yeah, up to the regional offices to do so.
Okay, thank you. Now I think that would be it for the work package 2. Well, Anna, would you like to talk about the city profile content in the work package 3?
Sure. We are a little bit pressed for time. If I do, there will be, I'm afraid there will be no time left for the other items in the agenda. I just wanted to check if we still have at least one person from each regional office with us today, because our intention was to validate the final comments, the final contents of the city profile. The World Secretariat has been leading this process, but we would definitely like to have the input from the different regional offices, as we believe that that will help us make a better tool for the offices, for the cities, for the project. So this is why I had asked for these minutes to talk about the city profile. Is it possible, Luca, can you put me, oh,
this way. Yeah.
Thank you. So here's what I would like to show you today. I would like to begin with 3 introductory slides, and my apologies to those that are already familiar with this, but it would be just to make sure that we are all in the same page, and then to start the discussion on each of the sections of the city profile. So very quickly, this slide shows here the benefits of having this tool, the purpose of creating this tool, and as you can see, many of these items go beyond urban LEDs, and say the 3 first topics go beyond urban LEDs. just some IT details that everyone needs to be aware of. The city profile will have a public area, and it will have a restricted access area for the details of the Urban LEDS project. One valid information, if you are concerned that you may not obtain information for one particular field, it is possible to build the city profile in a way that the web page only displays fields for which we have content. And when I say only displays fields, including the field name. So there is no empty field highlighting the absence of the data. Okay. Just to let you know, the knowledge management team will be setting up this tool, and they will also help us by validating the contents to ensure that the online systems work well. Here's what we would like to have from you. Here's the impact, the feedback we would like to have from you. In your opinion on what to include on the fields listed in the city profile. Are they relevant? Can we obtain data? How to obtain that data? What is the best way in your opinion? Will that be the same for all regions? We'd also like to get your input regarding the classification of the fields on public restricted access and how to track change. So these are the items. Now going to the details, and I will in parallel show you the city profile. This is the file that was sent about 1 month ago to the regional offices for input, and these are the details. So in this table, what do we have? We have the proposed fields, the column to the left, and then the intermediate column with the raw data needed. Sometimes we obtain it directly, sometimes it will simply be calculated from other fields, and how to obtain data. This how to obtain data column was a first proposal from the World Secretariat. We only received input from the African Secretariat on this, and I would like to have the input from the other regional offices. So let's see, going back to the presentation, and we'll go over these in parallel, over these two documents in parallel. Oh, just to let you know, you can find this document and open it in your computer. It's stored in the internet in Work Package 1, Knowledge Management Systems. If you'd like to download it now. Sorry, was that the question? No? So let's see. So regarding the first tab in the city profile, which is the overview, we have several items. One first item, information fields about the city. Of course, these need to be public. This is the information that everybody will see. The idea is for the city profile to track changes, but will only display the most recent information. The questions then are, do you agree with the fields listed? Would you like to add? And do you agree with the way that the information is to be obtained? So let me try to focus here on this first step. Very quickly, we intend to pinpoint the city in a Google Map image, to have a general city description in text, the land area, population, current value, the percentage of the city's territory which is urban, population density calculated from other data inputted, rate of population density change over the last decade, rate of population change, population density and population change over the last decade, climate, geography, main economic activities. Would anyone like to make any comment on this? Just to make sure, are all the ROs still online? Bruna, Igor, are you there?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kavita, Mahala. Are you there?
Mahal is here.
Mahal, hello. Kavita, are you
Yes,
still
Lola
there?
here.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you.
Thank you. Priscilla and Stephen. Oh, I'm not concerned with, because the African Secretariat has provided input. Steve, are you there?
Yes, yes, still here, yes.
Are you happy with this? Are you all happy with this first?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought that we had virtually signed off on the early parts of the profile previously and that it was more the later parts that was still under discussion. I mean, for my money, the early sections, if in some cases we can't get all of the data, it's still worth having those headings there. You know, we will try to fill all of those fields. It might be in some cases we can't do it, but I wouldn't pull the item off for that reason. I would still leave it there as a piece of information that we're trying to get hold of.
My question here on how to obtain data. Our initial suggestion was to just obtain this data through the questionnaire that we will ask the cities to fill in at the beginning. But Stephen pointed out that this might be too much information to ask and suggested internet research.
Well, we haven't. We'll actually be asking our project officer to start work on this week. In fact, I think she started today. I mean, there's quite a lot of data in Indonesia already. You know, the Cities Association we work with has databases already. There's quite a lot of national government data, etc. And we will be able to find quite a lot of it fairly quickly ourselves. So we were going to do that and then talk to the cities about helping to supplement it if we need to.
Okay.
That's exactly the approach. That's exactly the approach we've already taken in ICLE Africa. We're only sharing with them a 70% complete version.
Wonderful, wonderful, saving time. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next tab. The box country context information at national level. There is one new item here: national greenhouse gas commitments. I think this is quite relevant. All this item we will share. All the contents of the box. We can have a mix in some items from research where the World Secretariat can find the data, like for example information on the GDP per capita. But there will definitely be some items where we'll need information from the ROs, and particularly these on the national greenhouse gas commitments. Any comment on this particular box?
Again, I think in the case of Indonesia, we will be able to fill most of that in ourselves anyway.
Okay.
Hi, and I just want to check if all these information are not mandatory. I think that some of the options will be optional, like the targets, ratified conventions.
I'm not sure I understood. There may be.
No,
you mean there may not be any information? Is that what you mean? There may not be any commitments.
Yes, because developing countries like India and all, they don't have any targets. So I hope these will be like optional information. If they have, they can take. If they don't have, they can leave it. So this will be that way. It's not. I hope it will not be like you have to give the information mandatory.
No, you're correct in your assumption. If you have, please fill it in, but it's not mandatory, of course. Yes.
It's all optional then.
It's optional, exactly. And like I said in the beginning, if there is no data for one particular field, the field doesn't even need to show up on the cities, on the particular city's web page. Sorry. Okay, cities.
That's great. Yeah.
So moving at the box at a glance. These first items here pertain to energy consumption, and then we have several items here which really give a good idea on the status of development of the city and some of the possible areas of intervention. I'll just let you go through them perhaps. So the energy-related field can obtain this information by using Heat Plus. But the second part, information on the percentage of population with access to electricity, to a municipal water supply system, to wastewater drainage, to solid waste collection. This is information that would need to come either from the local government or from research. Any comments on
this is another area where I think it might vary from country to country. So, for instance, in Indonesia, the percentage of the population served by water supply is a very common statistic that's available. Whether we get the same precise figures for being served by a municipal solid waste collection system, though, is a very different question. And so I think that we might find that we can fill in 8 but not 10 of those fields.
My question here maybe, because even to facilitate, because of these different differences from country to country, should we move this to the restricted access part of the city profile?
Well, there is another issue too around definitions. What constitutes access. The definition of poverty, for instance, is a very big topic in Indonesia, because the Jakarta government has chosen a higher level before a person, a much lower level before a person is considered to be in poverty than is commonly the case, and so they have extremely low poverty numbers, and United Nations agencies challenge that. So yeah, if we had some of this in the public part of the website, it might create some problems.
Would you maintain this though? Would you maintain this item?
Yes, but I think it might need to have a comment against it. In Indonesia, the definition of poverty is such and such dollars per day. In other words, we might need to qualify it. Access, what does access to a water supply mean? Does it mean that people can use it and can afford it, or just that there are pipes to their neighbourhood? It's that sort of thing.
Definitely we had thought of defining each one of the fields, of enabling users to access the definition of each one of the fields. We have a problem if the definition used for the different regions is different. Then it will be more complicated. But yes, we will just have to include all possible variations in the explanation.
I think we should go the other way around. You take the common definition, and if there's an exception, you put in a little footnote somewhere.
Yes. Sorry, that was the idea. Exactly.
Okay.
So I heard from Steve here. Nobody else. If nobody else wants to make a comment, I'll move this into the restricted area. Restricted the box with this information instead of making
Anna,
it public.
Can you just clarify what you mean by this? I mean, the restricted area and why,
Oh, sure. Well, the public, as it's obvious, it's open to everyone. As far as I understand, the restricted access is only available to project cities and, of course, to Clay. Joe, would you like to add any further information on that? Let me check. Joe, are you there? I guess Joe is not listening in, but we'll go with that. As far as I know, the restricted access is available to the project cities.
Okay, I mean, I would think that something like a qualifier Steve Gorder suggested, saying that the definition of poverty is this, would be sufficient. It's not such a well, I mean, in some places it's controversial, but I don't think it makes a difference if only the cities can see it. I don't really see how that changes very much.
Oh, wonderful. Joe is here. Joe, are you listening?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, wonderful.
Do you hear me?
Joe, yes. We have a very good question here regarding the restricted access fields on the city profile.
Yes.
So we have public, we have restricted access. Will the restricted access be correspond to access to all project cities, or only to the city itself?
At the moment, we had only considered that there would be one group for all of the project cities. However, I can create subgroups if it's necessary, so that wouldn't be an issue. I mean, I could create it so that only the city can see its own information that would be relevant for the project.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. So, giving the question back to the ROs, what do you think would be adequate?
I think it might be a bit pointless to actually have something that just the city can see. So having a cluster, and the whole point is that they see that they are each in a slightly different context, but that they see what these are is quite important, I think. And this is not science. So I mean, just quickly capture the information and see how we use that in the Urban LEDS project. Some of it might be very relevant to find solutions, in particular looking at the energy poverty issue, for example. So this is quite interesting information to capture, I believe.
Can I buy in there too? Marika's comment just triggered a thought. We've been having exactly the same discussion over the last week or so with our ACERN toolkit, where initially we had quite a big data collection exercise up front, and then later through the process we did a check of whether we had the required data to do deep analysis, and we actually thought we would back on the data collection up front, because you are guessing early on as to which elements of development we're going to be focusing on in the city. We wanted an overview of the city, but we didn't want to create a very onerous data collection exercise just for the sake of it. We've boosted the data collection and analysis further through the process once we've decided on the main priorities. So I think I'd be in favour of this city profile initially being reasonably broad brush, but we know much further on through the process we do have to go back and drill deeper.
I agree, actually, Stephen, and also anything that is relevant to energy would be an indicator in the long run, but these would probably pop out as we move through the process.
Yeah, there'll be some predictable ones, as you say, but others we don't want to try to cover every single base up front unless it's really necessary.
Mm-hmm. So the general view...
And this is Mahal.
Go ahead, Mahal.
Yeah, this is on the logistics side. I just want to confirm that the pages that we the pages that we want the cities to see specifically would be translated in Bahasa for Indonesia. So just the thought of any page that we'd like the cities to access, we need to translate.
So implies having a solid system at the beginning.
We're trying to, and we're trying to keep the system as simple as possible so that it's easily available in all the language needs that we have. because we'll have the same issue for Portuguese as well, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you.
Going back, I'm sorry, I'm not sure I got the right information from the debate that is going on. So would you agree to keep the indicators on energy consumption public? Would everybody agree? Or only in the urban LEDs area?
Okay, I can't.
Well, I think
I can't
the
see.
access we can also decide later on, but it's not. I think it isn't critical, sensitive information. So having it public makes sense because this is a project about energy, after all.
Yeah, and I think most of the energy data will be available from national agencies anyway, and it would be public domain in any case.
Okay. So we'll keep this. We'll go on with the work, assuming that this entire box, the glance, will be public, and if we find later on that this causes problems, we'll move it to the other section. That is correct, right?
Yes, I can live with that.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, moving to the. Sorry.
Excuse me, this is Luca. We are running very late. Is it still okay for everyone to keep going, or do some people have other arrangements?
I think we should start with Mahal. It's latest in Manila. And then me, and I'm getting hungry, but I'm still okay.
Mahal, how are you? Can you hold on?
We can finish
She might have died
in
of
the
hunger.
next. This is Mahal's soul only. I need to leave in the next 15 minutes.
Okay, so we'll push trying to close this issue today. We'll push forward.
Anna, could I make a proposal? We could do this by email. I think that might actually be easier. And just really fix a date for, in the next 2 days, finish this profile and then it's done. Because this just takes some time and we still have a few other agenda items.
Well, if that has been the strategy that we followed so far, the email exchange. So what would we consider a validation? No reply would be considered
No reply in 2 days would mean you're fine with it.
Does everybody agree with this then?
Yes, well, we started working on this version yesterday or today anyway, so yes.
Okay. In any case, right after the end of the webinar, I will resend you this by email, this updated version, both the PowerPoint presentation and this Word file, and it will be made available in the internet also. Okay. Well, in that case, let me see. Well, I guess
Anna, could I just jump in? I noticed the note from Kavita questioning whether the profiles will be for satellite cities as well. Can we just clarify that?
Yes, the city profile is for all city project models, satellite and European cities, and eventually even other cities that may want to join from other countries.
Thank you.
Oh, then it will be too much of information we have to collect.
It's a very big job now, isn't it?
Well, that was the initial idea, of course. This we can all debate these things. One of the usefulness of this resource is to have these the city profile as a calling card to facilitate networking between cities. So the initial idea, which was debated in the Bonn meeting, was to include not just model cities but other cities. If you feel otherwise, then we say so. We can adjust.
No, it's all okay. The content of these city profile is okay, but it's too exhaustive. We are not sure how much we'll be able to fill all these details, because generally we don't get any details from the cities. It's just that we have to work and we have to fill in.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Okay, but we also need to remember that we need to report on what the status is and what the progress is through the Urban LEDS project. So it is important to capture this kind of information from the start, and also to have something to compare to show progress has been made. And this is not only for model cities, also for the satellite cities. So it's quite important information that we do collect here.
I wonder whether it's as much a matter of timing as total resources. I mean, I think we can do it, but we would first do it for the 2 model cities, and then if we progressively develop the profiles for the other 4 or 5, maybe that's the way to tackle it. Yep.
Sounds like a good strategy.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion. Yeah.
Any other questions regarding this issue of the city profile? If not, thank you all, and you'll receive these elements very soon by email, as agreed.
Okay. Yep. Does that mean we can go on? Okay. So I think the next point on the agenda is the international networking seminar that should take place later this year, and there was a suggestion made, I think, by South Asia that Thane could be the city that would welcome this seminar. I think Sumya could update us on what has been thought about that. Is it Sumya?
Yeah, actually, no, I'm Kavita here, and we are in touch with the Thane Commissioner, the city officials, and I think by this weekend, Mr. Kumar will be visiting to the Thane city, and we will be having this MOU done. So then we will just talk about this event to them. Otherwise, earlier they have said yes, but the commissioner is changing within 2 months. So again, we have to check this with them. So we are not sure. At this point of time, we are not sure about.
Sorry, Kavita, just to clarify, so do you want to recheck in 2 months' time, or when would we have a definite answer on this?
If it is not Thane, then we can have it in other model city, Rajkot. So it will be in India only, but the city we have to decide on.
Okay, but we do need to fix the date very, very soon, please.
Yeah, but actually the thing is the city commissioner Thane is changing, and he is having just 2 months. So once we are visiting them in the next week or maybe this weekend, so then we can confirm on if he agrees for it, or he is leaving this thing on the new commissioner. So we will get back to you by next week.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. And well, regarding World Package 6 and Heat Plus development, do we have anything on that? I think there was something going on between Sumya and Yunus, but I don't know who's the most the person who has the most updated information about that.
I just have this much update, like Soumya has sent we have agreed for like upgradation of Heat Plus, and we have already started working with the software developer, and by next 3 months the work will be over. That's what has been communicated to me, and I hope this will not hamper the Urban LEDS work.
Okay, thank you. Has anyone else?
Can I just?
Sorry, could I just add to that? Also, this talk. I was in the talk with Sumya and Yunus. The idea was also that the data collection process could start quite soon. so that this would not be blocked by further developments in Heat Plus, just so that you are aware that you would be able to continue with data collection processes in the cities.
Yeah, that will be a parallel activity, right?
Can I just ask that South Asia or the World Secretariat shares with us a list of what the software developer is doing? Because I think since our discussion in Bonn, we haven't heard exactly what updates have been included in this first round and what's not. So it would be useful for us to know that.
Yeah, we have asked Sumya to provide that, and they will give us a list.
Great.
Okay, any other addition to this topic? No? Then that would be it for this webinar, if you want to leave it there.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I know we're over time. But what is the process for European city selection, and how can we assist in that process?
Well, we are still waiting for the final selection in the countries, and then we probably need to do a quick round on what the selected model cities requirements would be. And I've already made a tentative list of European cities we would like to consider, but this is not final in any way. So once we get a feeling for what the model cities are very particularly interested in, then we can finalize our European selection. Ideally, this would happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks, if we can get the names of the final model cities and do a quick interview round through you with them. Does that sound logical and reasonable?
Yeah, just let us know what kind of information you think we should be asking. Either if you interview us directly, that's fine, or if you send us a little template or something, whatever.
Yep, I'll send you a little questionnaire template.
That would be great. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Okay, I think that would be it for the agenda. Now maybe we could already decide of a date for the next webinar. What do we have any suggestion? How much time do we?
Well,
Was it scheduled already?
Tentatively scheduled for the 2nd of April.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. So if it's all right, then we'll keep it.
Can I request that we postpone it just a little bit, because that's only the day. That's the first day back, I think, after for some of us is Good Friday and the Easter Monday holiday is the 1st. So could we have it later in that week or on the 8th? It's just, I think many of us may have been away the week before.
The week of the 8th wouldn't work for some of us. Maybe the 4th of April, would that be fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so the next webinar will be held on the 4th of April. Okay, then I think we're good. And thank you for joining us. And yeah, we'll see you very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Goodbye. Good night, Maha. Good night, Steve.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sorry for keeping you so long, Maha.
It's fine. Bye.